Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, for choosing to embark on a rain invocation ritual. This is incredibly potent magic. And I thank you so much for choosing to remember your innate power as a child of this earth, as a child of heaven and earth, to be able to command for healing, command for change, and to see the magic and interconnectedness that exists within all of us when we choose to say and command and invoke that which we want to see. This may be your first time playing with ritual, and if it is, thank you so much. I have a feeling you're gonna really enjoy this. And if you are seasoned in ritual or magic, thank you so much for sharing this space with me, for sharing your practice with me, for allowing me to share a bit of my practice. And so, before we officially dive into all that is here for us, I want to first bring some context on what even is ritual. And this is for those who may not be as familiar with ritual. So, ritual and its counterpart, ceremony, are both ways of using our physical realm, whether through our bodies, through physical things around us, the elements, and using these physical manifestations of life itself as a way to communicate with the divine, as a way to communicate with our subconscious, as our way to communicate with other beings. All benevolent beings are who I work with. And so if you ever have any fears or stigmas about witchcraft, we can certainly deconstruct some of those distortions in another time of deconstructing the witch wound, because ultimately all witches, all magis are truly so much more common and good-hearted than we have been told to think, because of the church and the patriarchy that worked over centuries to divide us, to make us forget our own innate power that we are born with. All of us are born with psychic abilities. All of us are born with powers, supernatural or otherwise, that are innate in our DNA, innate in our bodies and brains and beings. I mean, so many scientists say that majority of our DNA is junk, or we don't use majority of our brains. What if we just haven't remembered or been taught how to tap back into what is actually there, what it might actually be like to be a human at our most optimal, divine, true nature level? And so for me, this is what the act of ritual and ceremony allows me to explore. And it's an act of devotion to all of the guides, seen and unseen, all of our allies in this life, the elements, nature, everything that is provided in here for us in this physical realm. We get to bring some devotion and reverence, appreciation and gratitude to all that is here for us. And as you can imagine with any relationship, think about people in your life, how much more depth there is in your one-to-one relationships with people when you show them a little bit of your love language, when you offer words of affirmation, when you spend time adoring them, loving them, appreciating them. And that's what we get to do with ritual. We get to do that same kind of reverence, but for the spirits, the energies, the qualities of life that give us life, right? Water is life. And so this is our, oh my goodness, an eagle just flew over outside my window. I'm not even kidding. Wow. incredible. The more that we simply devote the time and space, wow, to, goodness, to give reverence and care back, you will be amazed how much you can feel the response, the reciprocity, the gratitude that the spirits have for us in return. Your whole world, if you're not used to this, will completely open up wide new doors for an entirely new way of engaging with your reality. The more that you give back in gratitude, give offerings back to the spirits of the land, to the elements, to the rain. Goodness gracious. I'm getting so excited. The energy is so potent already. And so that's what ritual and ceremony can be. It can be our act of devotion. And so for me, I have been a magical practitioner since, goodness, 2015, but really since I was a child. Looking back at my youngest years, I've always been drawn to water magic specifically. If you've ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, there's actually a lot of very valid hermetic wisdom, ancient wisdom sprinkled in that whole TV series. So this has been a journey for me my whole life. If there's any element that I am particularly connected to, it's always been water. I'm also a Pisces sun, so got that going for my composition as well. And in terms of what is magic, we might be diving into a little bit of magic here today. And really, I want to destigmatize what magic is. And because we, again, have been so indoctrinated by the church and through the patriarchy, making this fear magic, when it really is an innate ability for all humans to communicate with the world around us in ways not just straight through the mind, right? Where we can actually build lasting, strong relationships with the world around us that are so fruitful. Like, imagine if you can have a beautiful relationship with the element of rain and water like you would with another human. Oh my goodness, it's incredible. And so, weather magic, well, actually, before I get too excited, magic in general is more simple than you might think. It certainly can advance in a lot of different, more complicated practices, but at its core, it's a balance between imagination and free will. And so we all have that innate free will, and that's where we get to play in the conjuring, the invoking, the commandments here. And imagination, I mean, so often we have been taught to dismiss the power of our imagination, of our visualization, that we're all just making it up. But I invite you to test that a little bit, because if imagination wasn't powerful, if imagination wasn't important, then it wouldn't have such a huge impact on us, right? I mean, if you even think about like the archetypal story of Harry Potter, that could totally seem like made up of the imagination. But when we really lean into it, that story has been one of the greatest, most impactful stories of our time because of the depth of imagination and what that has allowed for us to feel, what that has allowed for us to contemplate in our own lives. It's left a mark on so many of us. Like, you probably know what Harry Potter house you would be in, right? And that means something to you, right? So there is a very real impact that imagination has on us. And our subconscious is way more powerful than we might think. There's a reason why in psychology, our subconscious is like majority of the iceberg. If you've ever seen that diagram, and our conscious brain is only like the little tip of the iceberg. There's so much power awaiting for us to tap into when we tap into those other states of consciousness. And so weather magic in particular is one of the most ancient original forms of magic. You look to all different cultures worldwide and you go back far enough, and typically the indigenous tribes of any origin around the world had some kind of form of weather magic, where they would make offerings to the land, to the spirits of the elements, to ask for safe passage across the seas, or they would ask for rain to come back during a drought, or like to bring back the warmth after really harsh winters. You can find traces of weather magic in cultural traditions worldwide. That's where the practice of a rain dance has come from. If you ever heard of a rain dance, of dancing for the rain to come. And so in my personal practice with weather magic in particular, it's been mind-blowing, honestly. And I have practiced a lot of different types of magic, but really weather magic is one of the most palpable, and it really stuns me how easy it is in a way to, because it's this innate birthright that we have as children of the earth to ask for the elements to work alongside us, right? And so I feel like that's why weather magic can be so incredibly powerful. When I was doing fundraisers for the Amazon rainforest during really intense fires back in 2019, it was like we all got together, a huge group of us, did a rain invocation gathering together for an entire weekend. And then it was the day after our whole gathering ended that then we saw news online of the rainforest after weeks of fires was suddenly being drenched in rain. And of course, all this to say, I am not taking credit. We cannot take credit for this because there's no way to really prove, right? So I'm not trying to convince you that this is the thing that's going to save our world, right? But it can certainly be a very powerful way to connect and honor the elements. And I live here in the Pacific Northwest, and so often my neighbors, my community members will complain about the rains in the winter. And I try my best to compassionately offer the alternative perspective of, well, how would you feel if you were the spirit of the rain and everyone was complaining about you? Right? And then it's like times of need, and we're like, oh my gosh, where's the rain? You know, like let's give these elements, these very crucial parts of our life and our bioregion some respect, because they hear us, they listen to us, and the more that you practice, and perhaps you'll even experience today, you'll be able to really feel and receive what that relationship can be like for you. So who even am I to be able to share this? If you don't already know me, my name is Claire. Lots of folks know me as Crystal Claire. My pronouns are she, hers, and I'm currently based on the original lands of the Multnomah and Chinook nations. And goodness, like I said, I have been a water element priestess my whole life, since as long as I can remember, in so many different capacities. And for me, that has also evolved into being trained as a priestess of the old ways in a variety of lineages, particularly the Magdalene lineage, the Avalon lineage, and as well as I study the pagan roots of my Celtic and Norse ancestors. And so if you are familiar with Avalon or Magdalene, or the Rose lineage in that way, the divine feminine magical lineages of those paths are very much connected to water as well. And I also have, to kind of balance that like feminine magical practice, I also have a more masculine structure in my personal magical practice from trainings in the Western Hermetic ceremonial magic, namely through the lineage of the Golden Dawn. And This might all sound like gibberish to you, and that's totally cool. What I mean to share all this as is transparency on where my lineage comes from, so that we can co-create with the uniqueness of your lineage. I am such an adamant advocate for learning your particular magical lineage, because we all have our own and no one is better than the other, right? And so this is simply what I'm bringing to the table, and I am so appreciative of whatever line of magic you bring to the table. And if you're not sure what that is, you can simply lean on what's alive in your heart, what feels like your core essence of your magic, whatever that looks like, even if that's just simply through your conscious being. Could also be related to your ancestral line. You can call upon your benevolent, healed, and whole ancestors to support you in this work today, because they have the keys and the codes to all of the magic inherent in your cultural traditions that you may just be on the path to remembering right now, as we all are in our own different ways. And so if you want to learn more about how to engage with magic, how to embark on your own recovery journey in finding, rediscovering wisdoms that have been forgotten but have been not lost, I invite you to stay in touch with me. I am currently building an online mystery school, specifically called Becoming Magic. Because for me, magic isn't about something that, like, you know, we search for the right lineage and like, this is the exact thing that's, you know, that's the end all be all, this is the answer. We are the magic. All of us individually have incredible unique wisdoms inherent in our individual DNA. And so the online mystery school that I am currently building right now is designed to help you awaken the magic that is completely unique to you and your path. And so that's why it's called Becoming Magic. And you may be watching this at a time where those doors are already open, but if not yet, please stay in touch, because it's going to be pretty robust and I'm really excited about it. Additionally, I have linked in this whole package where you are probably viewing this from a Spotify playlist called Rain Dance. And this is a playlist that I've been building on for years, probably since like 2018, of so many different songs that help me tap into calling upon rain. And I'll play this when I'm showering. I'll play this when I'm taking a bath, when I'm collecting spring water, when I'm giving prayers to the river, when I am doing rain invocation rituals. And so you are so welcome to save that, keep that with you, play it during this ritual today, and allow it to be a resource to help you come back to this remembrance. So let's dive in. Please set yourself up, create time and space if you haven't already, where you will not be disturbed. And you can create an altar if you want. Maybe that's new for you. It does not have to be big and glamorous. I'm actually sitting in front of 2 altars that I have, which might be a little bit hard to see in this moment, but that's okay. Some features of items that you can have on your altar is I have some anointing water. And so this is just a dish with some sacred waters, and then I added blue tansy oil in it, specifically blue tansy because of the blue qualities of this beautiful flower. And so you can use anointing oil any day, but specifically anytime before ritual or ceremony. You can anoint particular parts of your body, such as your temples. Ooh, that's really nice. Anoint your heart. I also like to anoint my ankles. And this just helps us bless our bodies, clear and cleanse our bodies before we embark on ritual magic together. And so really, all you ultimately need or might want is a bowl of water. And you can consecrate water, make it blessed in whatever way feels right for you. I have also lit a candle. Might be a little hard to see, but I chose this candle in particular because it's intended, the makers of it are local, and it's devoted to Crater Lake here in Oregon. And so Crater Lake, if you're not familiar, is a beautiful body of water out here in Oregon. It's one of the 7 wonders of our state. And so I specifically chose this candle to help invoke that beautiful water presence. Like, you could use a white candle, a blue candle, just about any candle will do, but candle magic has its own thing in itself. So yeah, that's an option if you want to have that around. There's also always incense. I have been really connecting with copal today, and so I just have some copal incense here, and this can really help set the space. And not only is it valuable for clearing, if you want to learn more about clearing in general, I highly recommend my free energetic hygiene and protection masterclass, where we go into working with smoke cleansing. But yeah, was I going to say anything about copal? Oh, one valuable thing about incense and smoke in general, whether through a candle or incense, is that the smoke can carry our prayers across the veil to the heavens. And so that's why I like to always have a candle or incense present whenever I'm doing ritual and ceremony. And the more you generally embellish in the art of ritual, the more you can connect with and honor the spirits. Like, the little extra effort you put into, say, wearing something blue, or, bringing in more blues or colors associated with whatever you're invoking in, the more that it feeds into that devotion, that reverence for the spirits that we're calling in. And this is related to a concept called ritual theater, which is also a very ancient practice where people would dance and dress up to honor the spirits. And so this is just one little element of that. And so the more that you give a little bit extra effort to setting your space, making it beautiful, bringing in anything that reminds you of rain and the waters, the more that you will be able to give back to the spirits, and they'll appreciate that. You can also, I highly recommend having pen and paper nearby if you want to write down your prayers, your invocations, and you can choose to do with these papers however you want. You can either keep them in your journal for returning to, or you could burn them and again allow those smoke prayers to be carried, or you could bury them, especially if it's non-bleached paper. That's really great for the environment. And you can also have up a map of where any active fires may be. So if you don't want to pull up, or if you don't have access to a map of where any active fires in this area in the world are that you want to specifically send rain to, I invite you to at least have a location in your heart somewhere, because it's important that we have a direction, we have an intention of where exactly our invocation is going. Because you could be just calling in rain in general, and then it starts raining over your house, right? Or we could send rain specifically to fires in any particular areas. And so for me, at the time of filming this, fires that have been really present in my field are the intense fires in Maui. I'm filming this in August 2023. And also the fires in Canada, Washington, Oregon right now. Those are all really present for me at this time. So that's where I will be sending and envisioning rain going to. However, you can send rain wherever feels most appropriate for you at this time. So a little bit more context of my setup before we really get started. I just feel like the education and contextual setting is really, really valuable to help you get the most out of this. I particularly work with various forms of sound healing, and so I have here 2 singing bowls that have water in them, and this is water from Mount Shasta, which has some magic already in it as is. And I have chosen the D sacral bowl and then the G throat bowl. And the reason why I did this is because D of the sacral connects with our inner waters. The sacral is the hara in general, is the seat of our waters. And it's the perfect complement to G, the throat, which also helps us invoke, to call out. Even as I say that, my throat's getting a little rusty. Some clearing to do. And then the throat is also most often associated with the color blue. So really nice complements of frequencies to be working with. And when I'm complete with playing these bowls for us here today, I will give the waters back in prayer to the land. And singing bowls in general are really powerful tools for invocation. They are not just cool instruments, as any instrument is. They can all be really powerful magical tools. And so I'm really excited to share this with you today. And as I play, I'll try to be really mindful about not blowing out the speakers or the volume too much. So if you ever need at any point with playing the bowls, they can get kind of hot. So feel free to turn down the volume at any point, and I will do my best to project my voice. Something that I'm also adding to these waters is, again, as a water priestess, I make holy water protection sprays. This may be reversed for you, but I make holy water protection sprays from collecting holy waters from 5 different sacred sites around the world. And then I blend them with homemade Florida water and then bless them in a hermetic ceremony. And so I even have my mother beings over here that are always on my altar, and I continually pray for them as the mother waters for those sprays. And so you can reach out to me if you ever feel called to engage with those sprays, but I'm going to spray a bit in the bowls now as well to just amp them up with some potent holy water magic. Anything else? Yeah, I think that should be pretty good. Yeah, as long as you have a bowl of water, you can embellish things as much or as little as you want. So then one more thing is that another really powerful aspect of magic is to have symbols around, because our guides, spirits across the veils, don't always communicate with us best through words or English even. Sometimes they prefer, and the most direct way of communicating with various spirits is actually through symbols. And so what I'm going to do is I already have some symbols drawn out, and I'm going to tape them to the bowls so that when I'm playing the bowls, when we're doing the invocation, these symbols are getting magnified to their purpose. And so just for some context, so you know what we're invoking here, I have, of course, rain, mother water. I'll just tape this now, because of course that's what we are calling in. Mother water. And then if you are familiar with the elemental signs, the sign of water is an upside down triangle. And then the word Ma is also connected with water because she is the mother, Ma. And that's the root word for our own waters and the guides of water. And then this is in my these next symbols are more in my particular practice that I'm just opening up to share with you today as an example. However, you do not have to learn these symbols. You don't have to engage with them. This is just my practice that I'm sharing with you. You can certainly use any symbols that feel right to you. And so in the Hermetic lineage of the Golden Dawn, of which I have studied magic in, there's a practice called geomancy that uses different, kind of like braille looking dots to communicate symbols or messages. And so I chose the symbol of Fortuna Major, which you may be familiar, like, wait a second, I've heard that from Harry Potter. And again, I want to emphasize there's a lot more real magic in some of our popular media than you might notice. And so Fortuna Major is generally an invocation for good fortune. And it's also connected with the sun and the sign of Leo. And currently at the time of me filming this, the sun is in Leo. We are in Leo season. So that just felt super perfect for all that we are doing. And I'm just taping them inside of the bowls. And then I'm also filming this on a Wednesday. You can engage with this work anytime that you want, but because I am filming this on a Wednesday is traditionally the day of the week that is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the planet and the god of communication. And so this is a really prime day to send our prayers out, to have our messages to spirit be heard and received. And so I am including a planetary seal of Mercury as well. So all of these symbols are being taped inside the bowls with the holy water inside, and that should be all of our prime setup. Make sure that you have water, and ready to get started? Taking a deep breath. Slowing the breath. Deepening the breath. Perhaps breathing in through the nose. Holding at the top. And exhaling through an open, relaxed mouth. Allowing any tethers, attachments, associations or distractions from anything earlier today, anything that may come later. Allowing all of these tethers to simply dissolve. And to deepen into the senses of this present moment, here, now. Allowing yourself to feel into the waters of your own body and being. Feeling the waters in your mouth, the waters in your eyes, Feeling the water flowing through your veins, in your blood. How can you be like water in this moment? Can you relax more into your own fluidity? Relax the jaw. You can open your hips. Continue bringing presence to the water that you already are. The child of water that you are. Taking a deep breath here. With your exhales, I invite you to release any sounds or sighs. Allowing your jaw to relax even further. Your body and being to become soft. And I invite you now to sense, visualize, or feel as if you are floating in water. Maybe the ocean, a pond, lake or river. Could even be a body of water in nature that you already know. Allow yourself to rest and float on the surface of the water. To surrender, to melt. Into this sweet maternal element. Honoring the tide pools and oceans from which all life on this earth came. You are a child of the water. Take this time to feel at home here. Are there any gratitudes or offerings that you have for the spirit of water here today? Perhaps it's a prayer for the oceans, prayers for balance. Offer the spirit of water your reverence and gratitude. What do you have to say to the spirit of water? What do you want her to know? The spirit of water has a message for you. What is it? Allow yourself to rest here in this embrace. And as you remember what it feels like to be a child of water, I invite you to envision yourself inside of a raindrop. Your individual raindrop. Amongst the countless other children of the waters, all in the form of sweet rain. This gift of love and provision straight from the heavens. And I invite you now to use all of your senses to really feel, sense, and imagine the rain. Knowing that you too are a part of it. Remind yourself of the smell of rain. Can you invoke yourself in that? The sound of rain. Allow the pitter-patter of raindrops to massage your eardrums. Remember what it feels like for rain to pour down over you. What it feels like to be totally drenched in the loving water embrace of rain. What does rain feel like on your skin? And with your imagination, your mind's eye, can you see yourself dancing in the rain? Are there any emotions that come up for you in these sensations? Your emotions feed the willpower of your magic. So spend these next few moments immersed in the sensation of you and rain, and allow yourself to conjure your emotional charge in this reunion of child and mother. Bring forth now your intention. Where can you bring the sensation of water to in the world now? Think of the place on the map where you want to send rain now. And envision with your imagination and willpower all of these sensations being drenched at that location, completely immersed in the sound of rain, the sensation of rain. See the land being quenched. See the land being completely surrounded by rain. Hear the thunder. Conjure the thunder through your own heart. Your own throat. Creator of all that is, it is commanded and humbly requested that rain, that restoring waters may be brought into balance to all places on the earth that need it now. Please send your angels, dragons, water devas, and rain spirits to bring balance and harmony to the places on the earth that need rain the most now. As a child of earth and heaven, it is our commandment and humble request. Bring balance to the elements here. Restore life and soothing healing to the places that have been burnt, to all of the families, the people, the animals, the beings that have been displaced. Please send your healing, cooling waters to these lands, to these beings, to these children. Please help us, humanity, do our part to bring balance to the elements in these ways. To honor power of the weather, and to do our parts to bring in harmony once more, where all life can thrive, where all life has the opportunity to heal and be well. Thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. Please show us. Taking a deep breath in and letting it out with a sigh. Seeing the lands of your prayers completely quenched with rain, with water, with balance and healing. Hold on to this vision. Keep it with you. If you have pen and paper, I invite you to use it now to write down any messages, insights, reminders. You could write down your prayer, your invocation. If you would like to speak or write out a commandment, a prayer as well, a specific prayer, I invite you to do so now. That could look like, just as a prompt, I, full name, command and or humbly request that balancing rains and healing waters be restored and sent to the lands of blank swiftly and in perfect timing to support all beings that need this harmony now. With the power of 3 invested in me, it is done, and so it is. Alternatively, you could say or write down, by the power of my own free will, may it be so. Take this time to write or say out loud your invocation commandments. Allow these prayers and invocations be felt fully and echo throughout your whole body and being. And envision them being sent out through your voice, through the smoke, through your heart, all the way to the divine ethers where they are received, heard, and honored. Taking this time to slowly come back to your body and being. And give yourself a stretch. Continuing to honor the sacred waters in your muscles and blood. Continuing to deep breathe. And I welcome you to carry forth these prayers. I encourage you to share these prayers. That's all so much ritual and magic are, is advanced prayer. So hold these invocations and prayers close to your heart. Do not let them go just after this ceremony is complete. Walk with them. Carry them forth. Remind other people of them. Speak up for water rights. When you visit a body of water, when you pour water from your sink, from your shower, give thanks. Offer reverence and gratitude every time. Make reminders for yourself so you don't forget. And compassionately help others remember how to respect the elements that make up our life, internally and externally. Thank you for being a water warrior with me in whatever way this path unfolds for you. Thank you for walking this path with me. I'm honored to know you. Please, if we're not already connected, stay in touch. Reach out. Say hello. Let me know how this journey has been for you. Feel welcome to share about it on social media with your friends, because this is important work. And the more of us that do it and do it together, the more power we have. That's why weather magic was most often done in groups. The last time I hosted an in-person water invocation ceremony was after an unusually dry winter here in the Pacific Northwest. This was this last winter. And I called upon my sisters to come to ceremony, to sit in prayer with me for the waters. After it hadn't been raining for weeks in the winters in Pacific Northwest. So unheard of. And I recognize, I honor the seasons and how the rains of the winters allow our summers to be safe. Allow us to help avoid drought in the summers. And so I brought my sisters together. And again, it had not been raining for weeks. And as soon as we opened the circle, as soon as we opened the sacred space, it immediately started downpouring over my house. Downpouring. Like thunder. After weeks, maybe even a whole month. It was amazing. And that was just at the start of the ceremony. The spirits hear us. They rejoice when we practice these old ways, when we remember and honor these old ways. So allow this to integrate into your own personal practice. Take what resonates here and leave what doesn't. And carry forth these prayers in honor of your own lineage, of your own life, of the lands that you call home, the lands that you travel to, the lands that you benefit from, that you are connected to. Give back. This is a form of sacred activism. So please do not ever doubt its efficacy. Your prayers are heard and received. And the more you believe, the more you invoke your willpower to remember this, to practice it, the more you will see. So blessed be. Thank you so much for being here, for embarking on this journey with me. I am so grateful to continue to get to know you, to continue to walk alongside you in a good way. Please reach out, stay in touch. I'd love to get to know you even further. And to close our circle, if you have your water, I invite you to anoint yourself with it. Perhaps on your third eye, your temples again. In gratitude and remembrance. Of your birthright as a child of water. Blessed be, my friends. Thank you for doing this good work with me. You're welcome to give your waters back to the earth, perhaps to your favorite tree. You can keep your commandments, your invocations, or burn them. The rest of this journey is yours now. So thank you so much for carrying this water medicine in a good way, and for helping others remember the same. Please feel so welcome to share this experience with anyone you feel who may resonate with it. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means more than you know. For myself, for you, and all of our relations. I love you. Thank you. It is done. Blessed be. So it is.